Like then it was first class, like then it looked like something freshly out of the factory. And I examined the two alarm clocks, and I says to Paul Smith, Lord of Mercy, Paul, I don't think you should use them. I don't trust them. I wouldn't feel safe with them, like, you know. And there was a remark passed like then, and was I nervous or what, like there then, you know. But that's neither here nor there anyhow, like then. So I was getting up my few little bits and pieces anyhow, and I was terribly disappointed I wasn't going on the operation. And I was saying good night to the lads and wishing them safe trip and all. And the last words that Paddy Powell was singing, Éireann, my own lovely land, Éireann, my own farewell. They were the last words Paddy said to me, and I going out the door. And sure, that night later on, then we heard the blast like there then, you know.
An dulles seach go Christmas len an de cúlamer gá phléas gán, agus las an spéir sós. Fuair mac go raibh bhí cúigear marmh agus bertacha ólach garman, má cáirde héan Paddy go paráil. Bhuaigh mé crús I macrí ag an lá sin. Bhí fearg mór an tar éis an rud a hála, ach bhí me daineann I me intina leanúint a raig leis an trid.
Aden Tubber was the worst single disaster of the campaign. While crowds grieved for the dead, there was a clear sense with the general public that the victims had given up their lives for nothing.
We had no way at that time of harnessing the public except by doing things and expecting them to support us. From a standing start, to start a guerrilla war, if you like, or guerrilla activity at least in Northern Ireland, and expect the people unhesitatingly to accept it. It was too big a leap, and it didn't happen. We hadn't the right to expect it, really.
I think the ordinary man in the street in the north wasn't interested at the time. They saw it as something from the south of Ireland that was imposing on the north.
In November 1961, Justice Minister Charles Haughey introduced military courts which handed down long sentences to captured volunteers. The IRA was forced to accept that it would have to stand down or be destroyed. In February 1962, the Army Council ordered arms to be dumped and hostilities to end, for now.
Bhí is agin ag an am sin, go raibh I láthair na stara. Bhí an taram le chéile, bhí na haram sláán agin, agus mar sinne, agus bhí is agin in our nintin. Go deochach siamh níos fearr, go mbeadh na coinéalacha an talla níos fórstaí chun tríde chur suas. Agus is amhlaí a tharla I ndearadh na dála.
The Irish resistance movement renews its pledge to eternal hostility to the British forces of occupation in Ireland. It calls on the Irish people for increased support and looks forward with confidence to a period of consolidation, expansion, and preparation for the final and victorious phase of the struggle for the full freedom of Ireland.
After 5 years of sporadic attacks, ambushes and bombings, the IRA had killed 6 RUC men and lost 8 volunteers, most of them in accidents. Militarily, the IRA had been defeated. But by failing to address the root cause of the IRA campaign, London, Dublin and Stormont had merely dealt superficially with the beginnings of a devastating movement.
We had too many morals. As I said before, we couldn't win a war. We had too many scruples. Terrible things happened in the 70s and 80s. Awful things happened that no way could I, or I suppose anybody else, condone. But I do understand. I do understand why they happened. I personally, I couldn't have anything to do with them or approve in any kind of way. But I do understand exactly why they happened.
If I were asked the question, all that has happened in the last 30 years, since 1969 to now, has it been worth it? I'd have to say no, it hasn't. I don't think so. I think too many people died. Too many people died needlessly. There were too many innocent people killed in the whole struggle. And it's very hard to justify it in terms of what has been now achieved. I think people are more realistic now. And they are, I think generally speaking, prepared to settle for less than we would have settled for in our time, or an earlier generation would have settled for either. It's been a very painful, very sore learning experience for the whole society, North and South, particularly for the North.
In just a few moments, the conclusion of the graphic history of the Gestapo reflects the growing desperation of some of its officers as the Third Reich began to crumble and fall, but for many it was business as usual.